Question 21 of JAMB 2015 government exam says, promotion and discipline of civil servants is the responsibility of the option A, Federal Character Commission, option B, Ministry of Labour, option C, Civil Service Commission, option D, Public Compliance Commission. The answer to this question is option C, Civil Service Commission. And the Civil Service Commission is an independent body that sees to the recruitment, training, promotion, motivation, transfer and discipline of staffs in any government ministries. So the correct answer is option C. Question 22 of JAMB 2015 government exam says, under the unitary arrangement, the center is vested with option A, limited power over the constituent unit, option B, equal power with the constituent unit, option C, insignificant power, option B, absolute power. Now, to answer this question, we need to understand the definition of unitary system of government. A unitary system of government is a structure of government in which all governmental powers and authority are concentrated in the hands of a single central government. In this respect, power are not shared with anybody, but they can delegate powers to other subordinate bodies. So in a unitary system of government, the central government are given absolute power. So our correct answer to this question is option D. Question 23 of JAMB 2015 government exam says, which of these international organizations is Nigeria a member majorly because of our economic interest? Option A, UN, option B, Commonwealth, option C, African Union, option D, OPEC. Now the correct answer to this question is option D, OPEC. The mission statement of OPEC is to coordinate and unify the petroleum policy of its member countries and ensure the stabilizations of oil markets in order to secure an efficient economy and regular support of petroleum to consumer, a steady income to producer, and a fair return on capital for those investing in petroleum industry. So Nigeria happens to be a part of this organization majorly because of our economic interest. Question 24 of JAMB 2015 government exam says, abolition of civil liberty is an attribute of option A, presidential government, option B, parliamentary government, option C, military government, option D, republic government. The abolition of civil liberty is an attribute of the military government. Military rule is mostly noted for violating the fundamental human rights because people are detained without trial. The death of Ken Saro-Wiwa and the other 8 Ogoni citizens is a good example of this. After the death sentence was handed down, they were not given the opportunity to appeal. The military government do not operate on constitution. Whenever they are drawn into the realm of politics, they suspend the constitution. So the abolition of civil liberty is an attribute of the military government. So our correct answer here is option C. Question 25 of JAMB 2015 government exam says, one of the agencies introduced by the military to promote national integration was the option A, National Youth Service Corps, option B, Directorate of Mass Mobilization for Social and Economic Reconstruction, option C, Directorate of Food, Roads and Rural Infrastructure, option D, National Directorate for Employment. One of the agencies introduced by the military to promote national integration was the National Youth Service Corps. The National Youth Service Corps is one program established in 1973 by the military government of General Gowon. The scheme is now an act of parliament and it remains one of the greatest public institutions ever created in Nigeria with laudable objective. One of the objectives is mainly to develop common ties among the Nigerian youth and promote national unity and integration. The youth, after their university education, are moved to different parts of the country in order to promote better understanding of one another, culturally, socially, and politically. So our correct answer here is option A. Question 26 of JAMB 2015 government exam says, one of the main objectives of OPEC is to, option A, assist multinational companies to monopolize markets. Option B, protect the interests of multinational companies. Option C, stabilize the income of developing nations. Option D, fix and allocate production to the member nation. Now, Organization of Petroleum Exporting Companies, OPEC, is made up of 13 member states, mostly developing nations of the world, and it was founded in Baghdad, the capital of Iraq, in 1960. One of the main objectives of OPEC is to fix and allocate production to member nations. They remove price fluctuation by stabilizing the price of oil in the international market and thereby eliminate price fluctuation. So our correct answer is option D. Question 27 of JAMB 2015 government exam says, Nigeria's foreign relations with Britain was strained during the Buhari regime because, option A, Britain tested atomic bomb in the Sahara Desert. Option B, Britain refused to recognize the regime. Option C, Nigeria refused to export crude oil to Britain. Option D, Nigeria wanted to forcefully extradite Alhaji Umar Dinko from Britain. Now, the attempt to kidnap Alhaji Umar Dinka and bring him back to Nigeria to answer charges brought against him was foiled by the British police. This strained the relationship between Nigeria and Britain in such a way that both countries recalled their ambassador, even though relations were normalized later. Now, the story was Alhaji Umar Dinka was an influential transport minister in the civilian administration of President Shehu Shagari in 1983. The Nigerian government was overthrown in a military coup led by Major General Muhammad Buhari, and new military government led by Buhari was established. On his second day in power, Buhari issued a list of former government officials accused of varieties of crimes, and Alhaji Umar Dinka was the top of the list. He was accused of embezzling several billions of dollars in oil profits from the national treasury. Despite strenuous efforts to locate him, Alhaji Umar Dinko moved to Britain and settled in London and became a vocal critic of the regime in exile. And the regime recruited an Israeli National Intelligence Agency to locate and bring Dinko back to Nigeria to stand trial. Their mission was to locate and kidnap Alhaji Umar Dinko and secretly transport him back to Nigeria in a diplomatic bag. The kidnapping took place, but the transportation was unsuccessful. After it was foiled, the fallout seriously damaged relations between Nigeria and the United Kingdom for years. So the correct answer to this question is option D. Nigeria wanted to forcefully extradite Alhaji Umar Dinko from Britain. Question 28 of JAMB 2015 government exam says, the Babangida regime differs from the Buhari regime because in the former, option A, governors were assisted by commissioners. Option B, ministers executed government policies. Option C, government were members of the National Council of States. Option D, the post of chairman, Joint Chiefs of Staff was created. Now, one of the major differences between the Babangida regime and Buhari regime is that the Babangida regime created the post of chairman and Joint Chief of Staff. So the correct answer is option D. Question 29 of JAMB 2015 government exam says, a feature of the presidential system is that, option A, the president has an indefinite term of office. Option B, there is a separate election for the executive and the legislature. Option C, the president is a member of the legislature. Option D, the cabinet is collectively accountable to the legislature. Option A, which is the president has an indefinite term of office, is wrong because we all know that in a presidential system of government, there is a fixed tenure of office. Option B, there is a separate election for the executive and the legislature, is also wrong. This is not a feature of a presidential system of government. This has to do with INEC. If INEC chooses to coordinate a separate election for the executive and the legislature. Option D, the president is a member of the legislature, is very, very wrong. The president can only be a member of the legislature in a parliamentary system of government. The correct answer to this question is option D. The cabinet is collectively accountable to the legislature. The cabinet of Nigeria is the executive branch of the government of Nigeria. The cabinet members are appointed by the president and report to the president. In a presidential system of government, the president and all his cabinet members are collectively accountable to the legislature in the sense that if the president needs money for a particular issue in the country, he will write to the legislature and the legislature will give him the approval. This shows that the president and his entire cabinet are collectively accountable to the legislature. So our correct answer is option D. Question 30 of JAMB 2015 government exam says, the chairman of the Federal Character Commission is appointed by the option A, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, option B, National Assembly, option C, Minister of Labor and Productivity, option D, President. Now, the power to appoint the chairman of the Federal Character Commission is vested in the president by the virtue of Section 2 of the Federal Character Commission Act, which states that the chairman and the member of the commission shall be appointed by the president, subject to confirmation by the Senate. So our correct answer is option D.